Hello everyone, and welcome to Marathon. This is my first episode where I'm actually going to be talking about the game directly, and you can see me and we can have a conversation about the game. At the moment, I've released some episodes of my little passion project here, Visions of Marathon, and I've put a lot of effort into it. I genuinely have. It's just... this game has really grabbed me. It's the aesthetic that I already really love and enjoy. There's a lot of that sort of futuristic sci-fi, cyberpunk, all of that sort of aesthetic really, really appeals to me. And the way that it has been handled in this game, I'm just obsessed with it. So I've really enjoyed putting that inspiration to use while editing these videos. And I wanted to also sprinkle in something else as part of this. It's not just only Visions of Marathon. I would like to also be doing live streams of the game where I'm just like doing straight runs and we just like playing the game and experiencing it that way, which is like less of a story lore focused run like the Visions of Marathon is. And then sort of like maybe some check-in videos like this, like let's talk about my thoughts on the game like 40-ish hours in. You know, I've played a lot of the game. At the moment I am level 25 and I have gotten a pretty used to how this game plays, how it feels, done quite a few runs, and you know, I genuinely go to sleep and I stare at the ceiling and I'm just thinking about this game. Like, it's straight up some sort of video game crack, and it's hooked me real nice. And I'm not an extraction shooter and primarily multiplayer guy. We know that from the channel. I love my stories. I love my, you know, big campaigns. But there's something about this game that has the sauce, and especially the fact that this game, the fact that it's an existing series. There's already lore and world building here from 30 years ago now, you know, with the original Marathon trilogy. And this game hooking me has inspired me to go back and check out those original games as well. So we're going to be also exploring original Marathon and then just get into the lore. And I think that's another appealing element of this game for me, is if it's got a really good story, or if there's like this element of intriguing mystery and lore that I've got to like work to earn or sift through, and it's just like something that really, you know, sparks the imagination. This is why it really, really appeals to me. And I can still say, yes, I would love if there was more of a focused like mission-based campaign. This is sort of missions in the form of contracts that you can do while, you know, playing an extraction shooter. And to give some thoughts, you know, this many hours into the game, I fucking love it. There's absolutely more that I would like out of it, like I said with the campaign, stuff like that. However, the Bungie gunplay I have always championed as my favorite video game where I hold and shoot a gun. It's just immaculate. Everything feels so nice. And it's like one of those moments when you play a game like this, it just kind of like reassures you and reaffirms that opinion that I have. You know, Bungie know how to do gunplay and do it well. And it has really shone a light on Destiny 2 that I'm like, yeah, that game is a 2017 game, you know, that has obviously been built on with expansions, and it's got a lot of gorgeous visuals. But Marathon, them being able to just like do a brand new game with updated modern graphical fidelity, and it's the worlds here, like the maps that have been created are fucking gorgeous. The fact that there is like loot that you salvage, and as you get that loot, that will unlock further lore and codex entries. There's such a mystery as it's, you know, you deal with the 6 factions and all of their sort of stake that they hold in the original UESC Marathon expedition. Going into these maps like Perimeter, Diamarsh, and Outpost, and having collectibles that you can find, leaving with these type of items and then unlocking codex entries, just more sort of world building. It's amazing to read. There's so many here, and there is a lot of people that are just, unemployed or just very, very focused, and they're like, level 50 already, or you've got people that are just absolutely like min-maxing and going straight for the highest top tier prestige loot and unlocking so many things already. So obviously there are so many people much further ahead than me, and I have so many other things going on. I'm not going to be like primarily a marathon guy, but I really want to get into the codex entries. I want to unlock these things. I want to get into the nitty-gritty of what this story is trying to tell with the runners arriving to the Tau Ceti system. Obviously, we have a whole trilogy's worth of established lore and background information that I'm excited to dive into as well, to only feed into this, to see how it's all gonna connect. Soon, there will be the 4th map of this game, which will be Cryo, getting onto the actual marathon, and that is cool that it's not here immediately. There's time to prepare. It has to actually be opened up with community interaction and engagement. People going crazy on like getting the terminals to connect on each map, and I've been showcasing those in the visions of marathon episodes, just when I find them, and looking at the actual Cryo Station website, and it's just so cool to see that level. Like, Bungie obviously have built a massive reputation through Destiny in terms of like raid secrets, like spawning entire communities dedicated to like figuring out their secrets and the puzzles, and you've got the stuff from Destiny specifically that I'm talking about, but this has been like interwoven with Bungie's DNA for a very, very long time. Marathon, this is my first exposure to this series thanks to this game. But growing up with Halo, you've got, the terminals that really dive deep into the established Halo world lore, and that was something that was always really intriguing and exciting. And then the way that Destiny did its like world building and lore was like one of those things where it's like, the lore is so rich, to dive into, but then the way that Destiny 1 handled the lore was frustrating, because, the whole drama with the Grimoire was outside of the game. It's like this game has the codex within, which is very, very good, and the story is being told to you in a much more straightforward way, where I don't have to go and read a lore entry to figure out what's going on. And I can tell that this game had much more going into it. From this, we all know about the story of Destiny by now, that, they basically scrapped things a year before release and duct taped something together, and then were constantly working themselves out of that hole for a lot of Destiny 1 and early Destiny 2. But this is a game where I can feel the genuine intent of crafting this experience, from a story and world element to the gameplay element. This feels so refined. It's genuinely amazing, and I think that's why it's hooked me so much. It is like one of the best feeling games in this sort of first person shooter realm that I have ever played. That's why I feel addicted to it, and I go to sleep thinking about it, and I'm like, just one more run. It's it really has grabbed me. There's just every element of it, from its art direction to the music to the overall just like design and UI elements is just fantastic. We have Anti-Real, that whole situation that took place, and Anti-Real is actually credited in this game's credits now, and they reached a satisfying conclusion. So I'm really glad that they're credited as an art consultant. It's a very shit and unfortunate situation that happened, where they confirmed that someone provided all of the, these textural assets and these ripped poster designs, who are no longer at Bungie, and nobody knew that, the art team that were working on it after that, they didn't know. And it sucks, and maybe they should have caught that, or they should have better systems in place to actually look at where art comes from and how members of their art team create or source this material, especially as more and more developers or, you know, executives go, hey, let's do AI, and AI loves to rip from shit and, you know, rip stuff off all the time. That element of it was really, really unfortunate, but I think they've done well to repair that with Anti-Real specifically. Anti-Real is satisfied. They're not interested in the arguments about it, and I think that's okay with me. All that aside, however, you know, the art direction in general, it's not something that is unique to this game, this world. We've had this sort of aesthetic or, you know, futuristic element for years and years and years. There's just that specific type of like poster design and texture work is very, very cool, and it's just unfortunate that ended up becoming one of the like almost core identifiers of the game, to get wrapped up in that little art scandal. But they took that time delaying the game to polish it more, refine the game and how it actually looked, while, you know, sorting out their issues in the back end, and I think that probably worked in their favor, because this game was supposed to come out in September of last year. I think that the time that they had extra to refine this was very, very good. I think that worked in their favor a lot, and like I've said a couple of times here and there, I didn't really have an interest in picking this game up or playing it, because, you know, while being a massive Bungie fan, I have a big love-hate relationship with Destiny. I've played it a lot, I've taken a lot of breaks from it, and I struggle with that game. There's so much of that I absolutely love and adore, and it does come from the world that they've created and the lore and the story and how it feels to play. But the overall sort of constant ups and downs with Destiny, really, like when this one was coming out, I was like, this might be the Bungie game that I just let it be, and I skip it, and that's all right. I was, definitely proven wrong when I decided to try out the Server Slam, and I was like, oh, wow, okay. Turns out I like extraction shooters if it's made by Bungie and it looks like this and it feels like this. So that's where I'm at, essentially, with this game. I fucking adore it. I am at level 25 at the moment. I've done a few runs on each of the maps, like starting to learn them and get familiar with them. There's so much to explore on all of these maps still that I'm running through so many locations where I'm like, haven't even seen this yet, haven't even dived into it, and there's going to be a fourth. It's great. I think that 3 maps of varying degrees of threat level, I think, was a nice opening choice. There's probably some people that, you know, think more maps equals better, but this is definitely a quality over quantity scenario. Outpost is like a whole different game. The threat level from medium to high, this map is addictive. This is a really cool element where you see what Bungie has learned from Destiny, because for better or worse, Destiny has had a lot of its ups and downs, the trials and tribulations, and, you know, they've brought it back from the brink a couple of times. But the important thing here is, while they have learned a lot of lessons, and then sometimes forget those lessons and then have to relearn them, what is a positive about Marathon is I am seeing a lot of things that are just a straight improvement over Destiny in terms of how they handle like the online element and all of those sorts of things, because they have that experience. They've kind of learned what not to do, you know? I think Destiny is one of the biggest ones in that sense that gets a lot of attention for it being this over a decade long now live service game. You've also got like Warframe, which is, I think, probably more successful in the way that it doesn't have the Destiny or Bungie drama attached to it, and they're still going, and that's just a massive game. I haven't looked into Warframe at all, so I can't really speak on it, but I just want to acknowledge that Warframe exists, and it's, you know, one of those live service online games that has been able to, you know, continue and persist and do really, really well. And if I had a hyperbolic time chamber, I would probably play it, but I don't. I don't even have time to play what I want to play now. Someone get me a hyperbolic time chamber, we'll talk about Warframe, all right? But, you know, trying to hone in specifically on the Bungie Destiny element, yeah, there's a lot here that I just feel Bungie just have understood. Like, something that sucks in Destiny that took a really, really, really long time for them to implement was FOMO and missed rewards in battle passes, where that pass goes and goodbye to the rewards if you didn't get them in time. And that really, really frustrated me, because there was one particular season back in 2019 where I had earned the reward, and then I wasn't able to log in on the final week of the reset, because I earned it in that final week. I had something on, and when I was able to play, the season had gone, and I wasn't able to get that loot anymore. And from that point on, I stopped caring about leveling up the pass and getting stuff, because I'm like, man, the FOMO, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. It was pissing me off so much that I wanted to be able to play a game at my pace, not feel like I'm forced to be in the particular mindset. I like have to play this game when I've got so much going on. What's really nice about what Marathon has implemented is you can buy and level any of the passes at any time, which, you know, significantly reduces any of that like FOMO or feeling like you're gonna miss out, or you have to play a certain amount to get that. So that's really nice. I think that that's better across the board. You know, there's been conversation at the moment on how good the rewards pass actually is, and yeah, I obviously agree that it's a little bit lackluster. I think that, you know, as just a bare minimum, a pass should have a runner shell for every runner, not just one. They're adding 4, I think. They're adding 3. Hang on, let me count. They're adding 4. No, they're adding 3 paid ones and 1 free one, I think. That news only came out like today or yesterday, so as of the time of this recording. But they're adding a few more, which is good, in the same sort of visual style. And then they're also confirming there's going to be some Arachne shells that can be earned in game as well. I think if the main issue that we're focusing on, that's, you know, they're getting a bit of shit for at the moment, is the paid, like, optional cosmetics, we're doing all right, because this doesn't change the game in any sense of the word. It's customization. I think that there is definitely more improvements that can be made in terms of the customization and how we can unlock this stuff. But as it stands right now, you don't have to buy it. It is optional. It could be better, but, you know, there are plenty of other things that we could have an issue with. Something that I love that has been put into this game is, in the codex, as you're playing the game, you have earnable rewards. By playing the game, you unlock codex entries, but you also get emblems, you get your backgrounds by doing certain things. Like, if I complete my assassin mastery challenges, I will get the Shadow Index runner shell. It's very cool that there is earnable skins in the game in this way. That is how it should be. I still need to read a lot of the lore myself for the skins, because all of them have them, and it's cool that you're able to read the lore on these skins without having to unlock them as well. So that's really, really nice. Yeah, so I'm a fan of that. I like that there's earnable things in the game. I kind of wish that the customization was a little more deep. I think that at the moment we're in this situation where, you know, our shells are kind of just, they need to retain the same silhouette, I suppose, so they can be identifiable, and then they just change like some colors, some details.
Every chance matters.
I don't know if that really matters in the long run, if we like need to see that it's a particular type of runner. Maybe they can make the identification a little bit different. Like, if you see a runner in the distance and you ping them, it's like a logo that's associated with their character instead, you know, and you can go, cool, that's a thief, even though he might visually look different. I would definitely love a little more on the customization front, but we'll see how the game continues to develop. I think something that would be similar but better than Destiny's shader system, where, you know, that's essentially what we're looking at right here, is the same shell with different colors. I think that we could definitely have more customization on that level. Instead of maybe unlocking shells like this, it would be cool to just unlock colors, and then you could, I don't know, take all of those colors and be like, I want to change like my legs to be orange and my arms to be orange, but then I want like, you know, some like white clothing or something like that. Like the way that you could like mix and match some pieces. I think further customization is never a bad thing, especially, you know, having each gamer be able to personalize their shell a little bit more. Like they could change the eyes, they could change whatever. And I know that this is a first-person game, so it doesn't matter as much. You know, I know that people are like, it's first person, we're not even looking at our character, but other people see it. That's why we have these cosmetics. You know, you want to know how your character looks when you're kicking ass, right? So obviously we can see that the prestige stuff, like there will be a little more that gets added, you know, that looks different, and that's cool. But I reckon they could push it even further. So we'll see how that continues to develop over time. But I am a fan of all of them in terms of their appearance. I think they look so cool. But yeah, it could be more at the moment. Because yeah, right now we're just dealing with, they retain their shape for an identifiable silhouette. So they're kind of locked in that sense. They're locked into a particular thing. They don't have as much freedom to change some things. Like we can see that, you know, here's the backpack with some things, but then normally it's like it's this instead. And they could change that per skin. You know, there's like different attachments. You know, Halo Reach having the level of like being able to change like the helmet attachments and chest attachments and things on the arms. Stuff like that would be really cool. Maybe like cosmetic items. I was thinking about, you know, one of the earlier trailers that were released where, you know, you've got, you know, Void and he finds the little, you know, music player and he puts it on and it starts playing the music, and the Vandal character has like a lucky charm. And elements like that would be so cool. If I would love to be able to pick up items that are like separate from your backpack or your actual loot, and it's like they're more like these sentimental items that you could pick up. Like if you find a lucky charm, if you find like, I don't know, a belt, a strap, like just like things that you could pick up and be like, I want to take this, and then you could like wear it or apply it to your character if you wanted, but you would also be taking the risk of then losing that if you took it out into the world. I think stuff like that would just be really, really cool. Like you deploy, and then if you die, you know, you lose that item you had. And just like think about, I've read a comment like thinking about this similar type of thing where people are like, oh, what if we had ownership history on the weapons? And like when you picked up a weapon from someone and it's like in your vault, you could like inspect it and it would give you like an ownership history, like usernames that have had this exact item, you know what I mean? And how many runners have taken it from other runners and carried it through with them. I think that would just be so cool to see. I think that would just be so cool. To be able to see an ownership history, and the same thing could apply to like these sentimental items you can find in the field. How many people have had this lucky charm before you? Stuff like that makes it really personal. And on another level, like I was saying, like if this was maybe some stuff that was separate from like the vault or like your loadout in your backpack, it could stay with you across seasonal wipes, so you could see this journey of stuff while you're on Tau Ceti that you could like have with you, like a little, I don't know, trophy cabinet, something like that, you know? Like there's something I have in the vault at the moment which is a superior salvage, and in the description of it, it's saying that this shell ID is used as an informal trophy among mercenaries, and it's like that same sort of thing that I'm feeling like if this was not salvage and this was something that you picked up and you had like a little display cabinet and you could kind of share your scavenging and what you found when you deploy to Tau Ceti, you know, stuff like that I think would be so cool to add another element of like exploration and loot a bit further, instead of like only trying to loot for a very specific thing. But that's a tangent in itself. But, you know, I'm just wanting to like yap about the ideas I have for this game and how I feel about it at the moment. This is my vault at the moment, which is honestly almost constantly full. I don't think that you will have a concern about gear in this game. You are given so much, you can find so much. Every single day you are able to get a free sponsored kit of like nothing. You will never be like locked out of being able to play this game, and you can use that as an opportunity to like grow and improve as you play. You know what I mean? You can go in with nothing, you can go in with a rook, you can learn the map and learn how sounds really affect your environment, how fucking loud this game is, by the way. It's incredible. Another thing about this game and an element about it is I've played a lot of multiplayer. Like I've played my Halo, I've played, my Destiny, I've played Call of Duty, I've played many multiplayer games and multiplayer shooters. Never before this game have I, whenever I die or I fail, I've never like hyper-analyzed every move that I made and how I fucked up and how I could have improved and done it better the next time. And then this game, I'm like, cool, I want to go back in and do things better. I've been recording all of my runs for footage, and I can watch it back, and I can see that I, times where I would tunnel vision an enemy and forget to heal, and then I would die as a result, and I could have fully healed and maybe survived. Just moments like that, where you can really analyze every mistake, what could have been done to improve the run, to, help your teammates to how to survive better. So I'm really enjoying that sort of element. This game is amazing in a crew with good communication, just being able to actually work together on your contracts and also communicate when you encounter enemy runners. It is brutal solo. It's a whole different experience that you have, at the moment, trios, solos, and rook as the 3 different settings. There's no duos at the moment. I feel like we'll get it because people are asking for it, and I think duos would be really nice, because at the moment you've got duos, but they get paired up against trios, so if you go up in those encounters, you are at a disadvantage. But something about this game anyway is you can turn a 1v3 around and win as long as you play your cards right, is if you're smart about it. Because getting into combat in this game, the adrenaline rush starts, then it's easy to just not think, and that's something that you definitely gotta think about. But trios is really nice. Solos, you get paired up with other solos, so you have to be so quiet. You have to be very careful, because lightest footsteps, opening any doors, looting, anything just makes so much noise, and you can just totally give away your position to someone and die so quickly. So that is what solos is like. And then rook is like marathon hard mode, where you go in later than everybody else, and you are one tiny little robot against a bunch of other trios. So you've got to avoid other teams, you start later, you have less equipment. But the way I see it, and why I find rook so fun and addicting, is rook is, you go in with nothing but can leave with everything. There is no risk to being a rook, but you can have such a high reward if you get out of there. I had a really nice run on Outpost as rook, where I was able to actually add some blue items into my inventory, just picking up stuff and leaving with some of my first blues and purples. And for me, this is my gold mine. This is amazing. But there are people with filled vaults of purple and yellow loot already, completely geared up and just ready to conquer the whole entire stars. So there is a massive difference in skill level from the people that are extraction shooter pros to the people that are more like just Bungie FPS enjoyers, people that are coming over from Destiny, people that are coming over from Arc Raiders or whatever, to people that are just trying this out, So varying degrees of skill levels. So we'll see how well I can equip myself to do, you know, the 4th map when that comes out. Because I think we will all suffer regardless. But yeah, there's no... I only sometimes have the gear fear in this game whenever it's like, oh, I finally got a blue, or I've got a blue shield or something like that that's really nice, and then whenever I run with it, I'm like, I'd lose it. That's the type of stuff that I fear, because I want to be able to keep some good stuff to build up to getting to the UESC marathon. I just wanted to have a quick, like, and I say quick, it's been 30 minutes, but I just wanted to have a unscripted, long gap session just to share some feelings about the game so far, how I'm feeling about it from like a technical perspective, what it's, you know, presenting to us, the fact that there really is like this amazingly cool sense of intrigue and mystery around the story, because like that is like the jumping point for this story is, you know, the mega corporations, MIDA, the runners, we've all come to this location. We're going to figure out what's going on with this distress signal from the marathon, and we're trying to piece together what happened. Like the contagion, there's like the fact that the planet is just like fucking people up. There's like people are hallucinating things around an anomaly. There's items to pick up and extract that will give us interviews, more information. There's voiced codex entries. It's just really, really amazing to pay attention to. So that was a really big inspiration for me wanting to do this sort of Visions of Marathon project, was try and capture and archive, if you will, this experience. We don't know how things are going to change and evolve, where there might be events within the game that, you know, they might shift as the game world changes, as, you know, runners affect the landscape of Tau Ceti 4. I have zero clue, so I've been like trying to record everything. Like the terminals are up, I go and run and record them, you know, recording the website to see how that changes, you know, trying to, like, for archival purposes, see this history. And I explained in episode 1 of, you know, I always wanted to do that with Destiny, of just like record the adventure of my Guardian from the very beginning, but I didn't do that, obviously. But it was something that I always wanted to do, especially, you know, now that with Destiny, you can't even play or experience so much of that content, which is a massive bummer. I wish that I had recordings of my Guardian's adventure. So doing that in Marathon feels so very nice. I'm so keen to dive into more of the story and the lore from the original games to the new story that's being developed here. I just am very happy that there is a story here, and there's as much story as you choose to engage with in terms of, you know, finding these items, piecing together the lore. There's a lot of people that are doing like story and lore discussions, so it's very nice. It's way more than just, you know, here's your guys and you're at a place and you're shooting people and it's an extraction shooter and you get your loot and whatever. Like, there's a driving force and purpose here within the game that I am very attracted to. So the fact that there is a building narrative, there's established world building and lore, and we are directly involved in that, that appeals to me greatly. Obviously, this type of gameplay isn't going to be for everyone, and I think that's like the tough thing, but that is also another reason why I was like, I want to capture it. I want to get involved in this game because it appeals to me and sort of provide that sort of story and my thoughts and feelings periodically about it as well. So just a little yap session on Marathon and my thoughts on it this many hours in. A positive review, absolutely hyped for this cryo map to happen, but before that is even a possibility for me, I need to run these at least 200 more times each, really learn the map. But yeah, if this game isn't for you, I absolutely understand. I wish that there was like a mission-based campaign. I hope it's not off the table, genuinely. I hope that the concept of maybe something that could be like a single player or a co-op instance is possible, you know? I would even just love the ability for them to add some segments in of like a firing range. It took years for Destiny to get a firing range, but it has one now. Just another one of those things. I would love a firing range to be able to test out the equipment that we own in the vault, or just, you know, see how things feel and get used to that equipment. Or if you're able to just like explore the maps, but purely like non-combat, like if you could go down and be in an instance where it's, you know, no loot, no, none of that, but you could just go and explore the world, so you could learn the map elements peacefully. Obviously, I can see why that's probably not a thing. But that's why you can run as a rook. You go in, or you get a sponsored kit or whatever and run as a solo. But there's a lot of ways to learn and adapt and improve to, you know, the world. The unforgiving world of Tau Ceti 4 is, you know, if you get confused about locations or, you know, what's around, go in with a low risk loadout and just focus and explore the world. You know, have an objective or a mission for yourself when you go in. You know, it's so easy to get distracted because you're like, oh, there's something over there, oh, there's enemies over there, oh, I want to get this, I want to get that. If you just like, you can go in as many times as you want. If you go in with one objective in mind, and that is, I just want to learn how the areas connect, or like where the sound traps are and how I can sort of navigate the world, and, you know, it doesn't matter if you die because you're just gaining intel. You know, there's so many ways that, you know, you can approach this game, and I think I will be in this one for the long haul to see how it continues to build and grow. And we're seeing a lot of passionate discussion and community engagement, which feels so good as well. Like, you know that this game is not, you know, what the lovely rage baiters are pushing as Concord 3. You know, we have a very unfortunate gaming landscape nowadays where people are so excited to celebrate failures and don't really give credit where credit is due to the successes. And we see that a lot. It's so easy and appealing. There's like, for some reason, you know, drama and that sort of element is always a magnet. So especially in the gaming space, it's very easy for people to just, you know, hop on a bandwagon or just genuinely be more like upset and aggressive towards things than to be positive about it. It's a very weird position to be in, especially in the gaming landscape. It's tough. We're very fragmented little bubbles of the gaming community, I think. But I just want to be like open and honest about my thoughts and feelings as much as possible. You know, I've never been sponsored for any content or anything like that, and this is the same. This is just some genuine passion from me, and I always just want to be true to myself and true to you guys on what appeals to me, what I like, and, you know, if I have thoughts about what I don't like and what could be better, I'll always share that as well. So I just wanted to sit here in the game and talk about Marathon. So thank you so much for joining me for, I guess, what I would call a light review, because we're still waiting for the community to unlock Cryo, and that's going to be a whole other portion of this game. So a light review before we have a full scope of Season 1 of Marathon. So I hope you enjoyed this little yap session. Stay tuned for more visions of Marathon, some future live streams of just running the game, and also the original Marathon trilogy, which I will be dropping as a traditional Let's Play very, very soon as well. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you next time.